Thanks for starting your week with us. Hello and welcome to Business Daily. Coming to you live from Seoul, I'm Lee Ji-yoon. We have a lot coming up today, so let's get started with the day's highlights. A latest survey shows that if the two Koreas are reunified, a majority of South Korean companies are willing to do business up north. From basic fingerprints to earlobe geometry as well as iris patterns, these are tools used in biometric security, which is becoming an effective tool for identification in many fields. President Park Geun-hye is calling on Korea's largest companies to take the lead in creating jobs for the country's young people. In a meeting at the presidential office of Cheongwade on Monday, President Park said if companies with the means to invest take up their social responsibility and expand youth employment opportunities, it would start a quote-unquote virtuous cycle of hiring and growth. The statement follows her televised national address on Thursday, in which she noted that Korea's economy needed some major surgery, with labor reforms topping her agenda. As for her pledge to build a tighter social security net, the president said next year's budget should reflect an expansion of unemployment benefits. She also urged government officials to realize her reform and innovation goals. Now, this as Finance Minister Geunhye has underscored successful structural reforms as the key to unlock an era of $30,000 per capita income. Minister Choi said crossing the $30,000 or even $40,000 threshold would be possible if proper reforms in labor, public, education, and finance sectors bear fruit. He also emphasized that the prompt use of funds which have been delivered at the beginning of this month as allocated in the supplementary budget will be critical in recovering economic vitality in the second half of the year. Now, investigations are underway into one of Korea's biggest conglomerates, Lotte Group. The recent succession battle in the founder family has brought to light the group's murky corporate structure and allegations of possible tax evasion. Our Shin Se-min tells us more.
A thorough investigation into retail giant Lotte Group is picking up ahead of steam. Korea's Fair Trade Commission and the Financial Supervisory Service have separately requested Lotte Group provide them with related information. They are looking into Lotte's complicated governing structure and possible tax evasion in light of the nasty family feud within the founder's family. On top of that, the National Tax Service has been leading an investigation into Taehoon Communications, the group's affiliated advertisement firm. But Lotte Group has claimed that probe is a separate issue, as it began last month before the family feud kicked off. The NTS is believed to be studying related data on the group's advertisement arm, as Lotte Hotel, the de facto holding company of the group's Korean business units, owns a controlling stake of 12.8% in the firm. The tax agency's probe has led to speculation the NTS may be looking into other parts of the group, not just a communications firm. Lotte Group's recent revelation of its opaque governance structure could even lead to a creation of a new law. The main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy and a dozen other minor party members have proposed a bill called the Lotte Law. It would be aimed at stopping conglomerates from seeking loopholes in cross-shareholdings through controlling overseas affiliates. Shin Se-min, Business Daily.
Samsung Electronics has topped almost every smartphone market in the world in the second quarter, with North America being the only region where it missed the crown. According to data compiled by industry tracker Strategy Analytics, Samsung was the top seller of smartphones in Europe, Latin America, Asia Pacific, the Middle East, and Africa in the April to June period. Industry watchers attribute Samsung's strong global presence to solid sales of low to mid-priced devices and the Galaxy S6, which together totaled nearly 72 million units. But in the North American market, the Korean company ranked second behind Apple. So to retake the smartphone crown there, Samsung will unveil its new devices this Thursday. Korea's so-called Big Three shipbuilders are headed for record losses this year, largely due to delays in the construction of offshore facilities and tumbling new orders. According to industry sources, Hyundai Heavy Industries, Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering, and Samsung Heavy Industries are to post a combined loss of up to $5.1 billion for the year. The three have already racked up a combined loss of $4 billion in the first half. For the world's top shipbuilder, Hyundai Heavy Industries, it'll mark the first time that it has dipped into the red for 2 consecutive years. Latest survey shows that almost 9 out of 10 South Korean companies are willing to do business in North Korea once the divided peninsula is unified. But most of them did say that icy inter-Korean relations probably means that unification is still a long way off. Our Son Jung-in has the story.
The Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry has published its survey results conducted on 500 companies in South Korea on inter-Korean business after unification. The survey showed that 87% of the respondents would be interested in doing business in North Korea. Among them, 31% said they would actively promote the move, while 56% said they would do so if certain conditions are met. Only 13% said they would not be interested even after unification. Of the companies interested, they regarded the border cities of Kaesong and Haeju as the most desired places to do business. They were followed by the capital area of Pyongyang and Nampo and cities bordering China such as Siniju and Hwanggeunpyeong Island. As for the type of business, the respondents said they were most interested in developing natural resources and building infrastructure such as bridges and roads, as well as establishing manufacturing bases. While the majority shared the view that unification is necessary, 70% said inter-Korean ties are stalled. The KCCI said inter-Korean economic cooperation would help reduce the cost of unification. It added that the two Koreas should engage in active dialogue and negotiation to seek more versatile and specific cross-border exchanges. Son Jung-in, Business Daily.
Shops serving non-alcoholic beverages are doing quite well here in Korea these days, posting the fastest rate of growth in sales. In contrast, though, bars are struggling. With more, here's our Lee Joo-young.
Your average Korean will drink roughly 480 cups of coffee a year. This is according to the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, which said cafes selling coffee or fruit-based beverages have logged the fastest growth in sales, riding high on a growing appetite for premium coffee and fresh drinks. According to a recent report from the ministry, shops serving non-alcoholic beverages such as coffee, juice, and tea saw their sales jump by the most by about 11% in 2013 compared to the previous year, followed by restaurants serving foreign cuisine considered more exotic. In contrast, nightclubs and other dance halls serving alcohol saw their sales drop 7.4%, while that of bars fell 0.2%. Some critics say the coffee industry has reached a point of saturation, as the number of coffee houses, franchised or independent, has increased at an explosive pace. But many still say the sector will continue to expand for the time being, with the growing number of coffee lovers. In terms of overall food manufacturing and services, the industry stood at $137 billion in 2013, up around 3% from the year before. 19 food producers recorded sales above the $860 million mark. Korea's largest food manufacturer, CJ Cheiljedang, topped the list with revenue of roughly $3.7 billion, followed by Lotte Chilsung and Dongsim. Lee Joo-young, Business Daily.
And now let's check on how the markets fared here in Seoul today. Seoul shares ended lower on Monday as investors' appetite for risky assets waned amid concerns over a U.S. funds rate hike. At the closing bell, the benchmark Kospi was down 0.35%, finishing the day at 2003.17. While the tech-heavy Kosdaq also lost 0.69% to end at 746.34. On the foreign exchange counter, the Korean currency gained ground against the greenback, ending at 1,163.2 won. Biometric authentication is still relatively new to our daily lives, but due to its high level of security, it's becoming a more effective tool to verify people's identities and secure access to various systems. And to tell us more about the potential of this industry, our Kim Min-ji joins us in the studio today. Hello, Min-ji.
Hi, Jiyoon. So biometric authentication is still quite new to the average person. Have you tried using it in your daily life?
Well, we have the fingerprint system at our workplace, and also I have that function on my iPhone.
Yes, those are some of the common functions of biometric authentication, but now companies are coming up with more sophisticated technologies, so they're more secure and hassle-free. Now, this is because financial companies are also at the forefront of adopting these systems. So let's take a look at how our bodies can be used as unique PIN codes.
Using bodily features to access something used to be a common scene only spotted in movies. But biometric authentication is gradually becoming integrated into our daily lives. This company monitors worker attendance and access to the building, not with ID cards, but with facial recognition. It only takes a second to verify and match the person's face with the stored data. Not only is it convenient, but it's more secure as people's unique facial features are almost impossible to replicate. Taking it a step further, a new apartment complex is also set to adopt the system, getting rid of keys and even passcodes.
The trend is moving from physical contact to non-physical security systems. In the past, cards could be forged and fingerprints lifted, but facial recognition is unique and impossible to fake. It can also tell the difference between still photos and moving images.
Biometric authentication is gaining popularity as a new means of identification, replacing the predominant system of numerical or text passwords. It's being thrown into the spotlight thanks to the rise of fintech, or financial technology, that requires a high level of security as payments get easier. One of the technologies that has drawn a lot of attention is iris recognition.
With iris recognition, users can worry less about their identity being falsely used. Iris is very unique, and even twins have different iris characteristics. Chances of matching one's iris to others are close to impossible.
In just a blink of an eye, a transaction can be made simply by looking into a device. A local card company is planning to implement this system to make transactions easier. But like all other previous methods of identification, biometric security features come with their own set of risks.
Strong measures need to be taken to prevent biometric data leaks. If it's being stored, it means it can be leaked. Passwords can be reset and cards can be reissued if lost, but biometric features cannot be changed.
There are also doubts on whether the new authentication system will become widely used, as a novelty may not be welcomed by all its users. Experts say some will likely be uncomfortable with the idea of having their biometric information saved on a database.
Wow, so this whole biometric authentication is no longer just science fiction. But then in your report, you said some people might be unfamiliar with this technology and also might be reluctant to use it, but then you got to try it out yourself. How was it?
Well, I wasn't too comfortable with it either because my biometric details are being saved somewhere. But I did try, and it's very, very convenient. So I virtually bought an Americano, and it took less than 1 second.
Wow, but then we did hear that an expert say that there's still concerns about security. Are there anything being done to counter these risks?
Yes, financial authorities are trying to be extra careful. So what they're doing is trying to store storing the data in two separate places. So even if one part is leaked, they won't be able to use it.
All right, so once people register their biometric authentication or biometric data, it's permanent.
Yeah, well, that's true. But the thing is, biometric details can change depending on your age, on your physical appearance. So authorities will have to come up with ways to make re-registration less of a hassle. And as you can see, it's still relatively a new market, so they have to see other risks and kinks along the way.
Well, in terms of growth potential, then, how big of a market are we talking about here?
Well, it's growing steadily. It's expected to reach $16.7 billion globally by 2019, which is more than a threefold increase since 2012. And Korea currently makes up about 3% of the global market, and it's projected to reach $260 $60 million by next year. Now, experts say as long as Korea can work to prevent data leaks, it will be able to take advantage of its strength in the IT industry because biometric authentication can be used in so many areas.
All right. Well, you said this technology received a lot more attention thanks to fintech, but what other areas can biometric authentication be adapted in?
Well, right now, some of the newly launched mobile phones or laptops have fingerprint identification or facial recognition. Now, in Korea, iris recognition is slowly going to be adopted. Now, card company BC Card, for one, is currently looking to implement the system when making payments, and that's set to be complete like later this year or early next year. Now, local car makers are also manufacturing cars that allow fingerprint identification to start the engine, and some banks are also looking into technologies that won't require people to visit in person, for example, when opening new bank accounts.
All right, well, I look forward to more of this technology being played part in our daily lives. Thank you so much for coming in today, Minji.
My pleasure.
And that wraps it up for today. Hope you have a great start to your week, and we'll be back tomorrow with more news that matters to you. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.